All right, we're going to go through problems 1 through 9 and the second computer-based PARCC sample test. And this is the calculator section only. So 1 through 9, calculator section, practice test number 2. And we have a triangle that has, it's an isosceles triangle at that has legs of 10 and 10 and a height here of 8. And we're being asked, what is the length of CA? Now, it does not tell us that we have a right angle here, so you cannot use the Pythagorean theorem directly to find the length of AC. However, it does tell us that a line segment BD is perpendicular to AC. And what that tells you is we do have a right angle right here. So that means we do have a right triangle that the Pythagorean theorem can then help us with. And the Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where c is the hypotenuse or the longest side length. So I'm going to call this a, I'm going to call this length b, and the hypotenuse is the longest length, which has to be c. So a squared is just going to remain a squared because I don't have a value for that. Plus, let's see if using my finger works better. Okay. Plus, maybe it doesn't work better. 8 squared. Is equal to 10 squared. And so I still have my a squared because I can't do much with that. Plus 64, because 68 times 8 is 64. It's equal to 100. So I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides. And I'm going to get a squared is equal to 36. And the opposite of squaring a is square rooting. So square root both sides, and so I get a is equal to 6, which means that this length from here to here it was working earlier today. So the length from here to here is 6, which means this whole distance here is going to be 12. So then I would type in 12. Problem number 2. All right. Filippo is building a rectangular sandbox. Well, let's draw this sandbox for his younger brother. And the length of the length of the sandbox is 1 foot longer. So this 1 foot longer means I am adding 1, then twice the width of the sandbox. And twice the width means I'm multiplying the width by 2. And the perimeter is equal to 29. Well, let's label these side lengths. If I have my width here and my width here, and my length is this expression, then this distance from here to here is 2w plus 1. And so that means that my perimeter of 29 is going to be all 4 of these side lengths added together. So I have a w and a w. W plus w is 2w. And I'm adding to it 2 groups of this and this. And so looking at my options, I do have that option right here. So obviously I would click that one right there. And then what is the width in feet of the sandbox? So at this point, all I have to do is solve this expression. So I'm going to move it over where I have more room. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the 2. And so 2 times 2w is 4w. 2 times 1 is 2, plus my 2w, and that's all equal to 29. So then I have 2w plus 4w, so that's 6w's, plus 2 is equal to 29, minus 2, minus 2, and I get 6w is going to be equal to 27. 27, really? You think they would give you a nice, easy number to plug in there. All right, so we need to go ahead and divide this. So we have 27 divided by 6, and as luck would have it, this is the calculator section. And so let's go ahead and use the calculator. So we have 27 divided by 6, it's 4.5. So we can write 4.5, or type 4.5 into my answer blank, and that's it. Number 3. The table shows the results of a random survey of students in 7th and 8th grade. Every student surveyed gave a response. Each student was asked if he or she exercised at least 5 hours last week or 5 or more hours last week. Sorry, so less than 5 hours or equal to or greater than 5 hours. And so in 7th grade, we had 49 less than 5. 63 more, and notice here 8th graders appears as though exercise less than the 7th graders. Interesting. Based on the survey results, which statement is true? More grade 8 students were surveyed than grade 7 students. Well, that's easy to figure out. We just add these two numbers together. For 7th grade, so 49 plus 63 is going to be 2, carry the 1, that's 112. Over here we have 109, so more 8th grade, no, so we know this is wrong because we had more 7th graders, just 3 more. A total of 221 students were surveyed. Well, if I add this together, I would get 220. 221, because, yeah, 2 plus 9 is 11, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 1 is 2. All right. Less than 50% of the grade 8 students surveyed exercised 5 or more hours last week. So less than, yes, because 51 is less than 58, and it would have to be equal for it to be half. Lazy 8th graders. More than 50% of students surveyed exercised less than 5 hours per week. Well, we don't know how many total students exercise less than 5 hours a week until we add this together. So 9 plus 8 is 17, carry the 1. So 107 people out of 221. Well, if I double this, I'll get 214, which is less. So that means more than half of those total surveyed exercise more than 5 hours a week. And a total of 107 7th grade students were surveyed. That is not true. It's 121. So my answers are B, C, and D. But wait a second, let's double check the D. More than 50% of students exercise less, oh, sorry. More than 50, so 50%, okay, what I said and what I did didn't work out here. 107 is less than 50%. So I was looking, and so more than 50% exercise more than 5 hours. So that's my bad. So D is not correct. Showing, once again, how important it is to read the directions thoroughly. All right, number 4. Alright, a school is selling t-shirts and sweatshirts for a fundraiser. The table shows the number of t-shirts and the number of sweatshirts in each of the 3 recent orders. The total cost of orders A and B are given. Each t-shirt has the same cost, and each t-shirt has the same cost. Okay, so that makes sense, that all the t-shirts cost the same, all the sweatshirts cost the same, but the t-shirts and sweatshirts don't necessarily cost the same each. Alright, and so a system of equations can be set up where x is the number of t-shirts, y is the number of sweatshirts. And they set up the equation for you already, which is really super nice. And then, great. So in part A, what is the total cost of 1 t-shirt and 1 sweatshirt? Well, there are a couple ways you could do it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first equation here, this one right here, and what I'm going to do is I don't need to know the cost of 1 t-shirt or 1 sweatshirt. I need to know the cost of 1 t-shirt and 1 sweatshirt. So if I have 2x plus 2y is equal to 38, really I just want 1x and 1y. Well, can't I just divide everything by 2? Won't that give me 1 shirt and 1 sweatshirt? 2x divided by 2 is x. 2y divided by 2 is y. 38 divided by 2 is 19. So the cost of the 2 of them combined, the t-shirt and sweatshirt, is $19. Alright. Part B. Select a choice from each drop-down menu to correctly complete the statement. In the system of equation, x represents the number of t-shirts. I think we already talked about that. And you just certainly know because we have 3 and 3. And that would mean y is the number of sweatshirts. Alright, if the system of equations is graphed on a coordinate plane, what are the coordinates x, y of the intersection of the 2 lines? Okay, so they've gone ahead and given us the system of equations, and we're going to go ahead and solve it. So I'm going to erase my work from part A. And I'm going to use the multiplication and addition method. And in order for me to do that, I need to have opposites. And I don't have any opposites right now. But if I multiply the bottom equation by -2, I'll end up with opposites here. So what's the opposite of 2y? -2y. So -2 times 35 is -70. -2 times y is -y. -2 times 3x is going to be -6x. And so I'm going to rewrite this top equation. 2x plus 2y. Okay, so -2 times y is -2y is equal to 38. And so now that I have opposites right here, I know that when I add them together, they will cancel out and I'll have 0. So -6x plus 2x is -4x, which is equal to -70 minus 38 is going to be -32. So what's the opposite of multiplying x by -4? Dividing by -4. And what I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other side. And so -32 divided by -4 is 8. So that means we have 8 as the cost of the t-shirts, and then we need to find the cost of the sweatshirts. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to take this 8 and I'm going to have to plug it in to one of the two equations. And actually, I'm going to plug it into this equation here because I already have y by itself. So 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to write 8 plus y is equal to 38. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus something is 38. Well, what's that something? Oh, it's 35. I'm having troubles today. For those people who are watching, this is the first day back from spring vacation, and obviously I need another day of vacation. So minus 24. So 24 minus 24 is 0. Y plus 0 is y. 35 plus 24, well that's, sorry, 35 minus 24 is 11. So that means each t-shirt costs $8, and each sweatshirt costs $11, which makes me think for a second that we should revisit this idea right here. Because in this system of equations, x represents the number of is that what we just said here? No, we know the number is given here. What x represents is the cost of each t-shirt, isn't it? Which means that y is the cost of the sweatshirts. Oh my goodness gracious. I hope you caught that before I did. All right. Number 5. Functions w and x are both linear functions of x. Great. Which statement comparing the functions is true? Well, and I see the first thing talks about slope. So let's determine the slope. And you'll remember that slope, which is abbreviated with the letter m, is equal to the rise divided by the run. The rise, oh my gosh. The rise is going to be the difference between each of these y values. And we can see that they're going up by 0.5. The run, each time we're going up by 2. And so my slope is going to be rise divided by run, so I have 0.5 divided by 2, which is going to be equal to 0.25. On this graph, I'm going to pick 2 points here, and I'm going to make my slope triangle. Here's my rise. Here's my run. So I have a rise of 1 and a run of 2, which means I have a slope of 1 over 2, also known as 0.5. So do this. The slope of function w is less than the slope of function z. Well, 0.5 is clearly bigger than 0.25. So that is not true. The slope of w is greater than the slope of z. That is a true statement, because 1/2 is bigger than 1/4. The y-intercept of function w is going to be equal to the y-intercept of function z. So the y-intercept here is -2. So let's just write out the equation. So we know y is equal to mx plus b, where y is equal to 0.25. Let's do that again. 0.25x minus 2. And this equation for this graph is going to be y equals, and we said our slope is 0.5x minus 1. So the y-intercept of function w is equal, no, it's not equal. the y-intercept in function w is less than, no, -1 is still bigger than -2. And I'm hoping E, okay, so E then says, I'm going to get my, let's just say, okay, there we go. The value of, the y value when x is -4 of the function is greater than the y value when x equals -4. Well, let's figure that out. When x is -4, we go down here, and y is -3. So for function w, we have a y value of -3. For z, well, we have to go back in the table a little bit. If we go back, we notice that when x is -4, y is going to be also -3. Which means that they must be equal, which is f. So there we go. All right. Moving on. Actually, this has been a long video. I'm going to stop here and add another video later.